Guys, welcome back. We have some new Overwatch changes to go over, and I wanted to show you guys and explain the new TORB buffs that they've added to the game. So if you haven't played Overwatch in a while, we probably left off with you knowing that TORB was a character that people played sometimes when they wanted to just kind of mess around and not take the game seriously. Nobody ever picked TORB in like OWL games or like, you know, basically in comp. It's very rare to see him unless it's somebody throwing. And I think that the people over at Blizzard decided they wanted to do something about that and kind of change him up a bit. So they changed his ultimate abilities. So it used to be that TORB would throw down a turret and then you would use the hammer to level up the turret so that it could come up to level 2. And then you would ult Molten Core, which means your turret would automatically go to level 3. You collect armor from dead bodies and then you dead scrap from people, and then you would turn that into armor for your own team. Now, the people at Blizzard didn't like that feast or famine kind of playset because it was really hard to actually get the scrap to make the armor unless your team was completely dominating the other team. So they wanted to change that up a bit. So they've done some new things for TORB, and I'm going to show them to you now. So right now I am in the PTR. If you want to check him out, I recommend going to the public test region. It's in the regular Overwatch game. You just got to switch servers to PTR. And the first thing you'll notice is that, yes, he still has the hammer, even though he doesn't have like an actual use for it anymore. And they sped up the reaction time to it, so it's more in time with how fast it is to do a melee. Like, I'm switching between the left click and the melee buttons, and it's the same timing. So they sped it up, so it's the same as the melee for all other characters. Now, when you throw down a turret, it goes down in 3 seconds. And it takes 3 seconds to level up to being a full shot turret. And you can throw it down from anywhere. So you can just, I'm not sure how you get rid of it once it's already there. I think you have to wait for it to be destroyed. But if you're dying, you can throw it down just as you're dying, and it'll still level up to the level 2 turret, even though you're dead. So I think that's a great move to do if you're the last man on point, you're trying to protect it from another team. Throw it down right as you die, and it'll stay there. Now, as you can see, I'm leveling up my ult really fast. I'll get to that in a moment. So the other ability now, since you don't have to worry about leveling this up, and they got rid of the scrap, you can no longer go around and collect scrap from dead bodies and turn that into armor for your team. Instead, now we have a new button, which is F. And when you hit that, I just use it right now, it increases the armor for people with you, and that's pretty much it. I think there might have been something to do with reload time, but it's only good for, I think, like 10 seconds, and that's it. And I could be wrong on that. I just skimmed over PTR notes for that section. But I really don't think it does much difference unless you're just like in a big team fight and you want to armor up your team. Now, the new ult is what's really fascinating because the last one was called Molten Core. It didn't really like mean anything like Molten Core-ish. But now it really does. I have seen it described as basically he gets the Winston ult, but he throws around Splatoon goo, and it's kind of like that. So I'm going to use it in a second. Before I use it, I want to tell you that wherever you shoot it, it will always go on the floor. If you aim for the ceiling or the walls, it'll bounce off until it hits the floor. You get 10 shots of goo, and that sounds hilarious to say. You get 10 shots of goo, and whenever an enemy walks through it, they get injured. So I'm gonna Molten Core here, and nope, that's my turret. Okay. So I'm shooting at the wall and ceiling. You can see it bouncing off, and then whenever someone walks through it, they get hurt. So that's about it. It only lasts, I think, like 8 or 6 seconds, and then it just evaporates on its own. I haven't played it yet, so I don't really know too well how my feelings on it, you know? We're gonna do that in tomorrow's episode of KittyKatGaming. But I've just been messing around with it. I really like the fact that it bounces off walls and ceilings, so if you get into a room and you're having a team fight inside of like a little corridor like this or something, that would be the time to use it, because you just spray it all over the walls and ceiling. Great strat. Then it's going to bounce off and hit whoever is in that room, and you'll be sure to hit everybody in the room with it that way. I think that's a great idea, and if you're in a team fight against a TORB, definitely do not go in a tiny room with them if they have their ult up. You might have also noticed that the ult comes up really fast. Like, there's like no downtime for it if you're a good TORB. And yeah, we just got a lot of new abilities to use all of a sudden, and just fun stuff to play around with. Do I think that this is going to make people take TORB more seriously? Absolutely not. Like, I still don't think Torbjorn is at where he needs to be for comp play or for people to take him seriously in game, which is unfortunate, because I do see a lot of area denial with him. Like, if you really wanted to control a point, throwing down a turret on a moving platform or something is a good way to keep people away from your area. And it takes time for the other team to take down, so you're buying time by having a Torbjorn. I do think that he does have a spot in competitive play, but I don't think that people are going to take him seriously still. It's just not enough power. If they just buffed him up a little bit more, if they made that ult spray Molten Core just a little bit longer, he might be more viable. But that's just my opinion. I don't know. What do you guys think about the new Torbjorn? Do you guys like his new abilities? I'm just not sure, you know. I kind of miss collecting the scrap, because I thought that was a really fun and interesting mechanic. And I always cleaned up with it, but then again, I know how to play Torbjorn. So I'm not sure. Now, the armoring, there was something about, I apologize for not knowing this completely, but I'm going to put that out there just so you guys can know. There was something about his armor, his piercing rounds doing more damage to characters who have armor than to characters who do not have armor. And it basically affects characters who already have armor. So I'm talking Winston, Orisa, Reinhardt, characters, basically all the tanks. So they take a little bit more damage than before. So something to keep in mind and watch for. And yeah, like I said, this is in the PTR, so please check it out. I'm probably gonna hop over now and do an episode in the PTR to play around. I'm sure there'll be a bunch of other people playing as him right now. If you guys missed it, there's also been Fara Changes. They changed just minor tweaks, but they basically sped up Fara's rocket launcher, so it's a little bit faster, not as sluggish. Oh, another thing about oh wow, that's so cool, you can throw it from anywhere. Another really cool thing about Torbjorn is they took down the size of his head hitbox by 10%. I guess, I never experienced this, but I guess Torbjorn's head was a little bit too easy to hit for snipers. So they shortened his hitbox size by 10%. So if that was a problem you were facing before, you shouldn't have it anymore. I don't know why they included that. But yeah, Fara got changes, Torbjorn got fate changes. Who else? I know that there's a huge rework coming for Roadhog soon, so I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled for that. And yeah, the new Owl season's starting. We got BlizzCon coming up. I don't know if you guys saw the new Sombra Demon Hunter skin that was leaked that's gonna be out for people who attend BlizzCon, but it looks freaking amazing. And we are hashtag blessed for that, so I'm really excited. Can't wait for that. But yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys would like to see next. And please be sure that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys all then. Bye, everybody!